Anyone's curious, by the way, there is no difference between the male and female hero sprites. I'm just currently only have good visual cues for doing the leukemia skips with the male sprite. I use the tip of the hero's hat as a visual cue for lining up the first skip. That question earlier about artifacts. So this is what placing an artifact does. It creates a new land on the overworld. You get artifacts given to you as rewards for finishing quests in a lot of cases. This game only has one ending, as far as I know, and you can never lock yourself out of being able to finish any of the main storylines or beat the game by your artifact placement. There are some side quests that are unfortunately fairly easy to miss out on, depending on how you do your artifacts and just what order you do other quests in. Why, if you want to get true 100% in this game, I usually recommend using a guide, at least for what order to do your quests in. I'm trying to think if any Mana games actually have multiple endings. I guess you could kind of say that Trials of Mana does, just because what you get for an ending depends on which storyline you're on and who characters are on your team. But I've never really thought of that as being like different endings, because it's not something that you, like, when a game has multiple, like a good or a bad ending, I usually feel like getting the good ending is something you have to earn from how you play the game, rather than just it's driven by what character you play as. Like Chrono Cross, I think, is a great example of that. You have to earn the good ending where you save Shala by figuring out how to find the Chrono Cross and how to use it on the final boss. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the Chrono Cross remaster. I don't have like the highest of expectations for it given the preview stuff that I've seen, but just the game being accessible on modern hardware and having some nice improvements, like I'm assuming faster loading times than having the speed up function that's normally only New Game Plus in the original game available at all times. I think would be really nice. Even if I don't think they're really otherwise going to really add much to the game. I also just haven't played Chrono Cross in quite a number of years too, so I'm looking forward to just getting to play it again. I was afraid that the Chopin Hood was gonna miss. Step forward. Up and down motion here in order to speed up the start of the boss fight. Otherwise you have to wait for Niccolo to slowly walk over. Nice. Largely owe that quick kill to Niccolo actually helping out. Gold too. Sub 9 Niccolo's business unusual, still a dream though. Yeah, the combination of getting the quick kill on Mantis Ant, which means it not using any special attacks, and being able to afford to pay Niccolo 300 lucre afterwards, which skips some dialogue, but I mostly owe that to. Hopefully I've got enough money now to afford the sword upgrade later without needing to sell more stuff. Got that. I feel like it's kind of easy to fall into autopilot when I do multiple runs of this back to back, just because every time you return to this town after the Flame of Hope, you're going left at that fork to go to the temple. Only here that you go to the right to go to this area. Hey, Greenie, you'll come in. Probably not, but you never know. Hope you had yourself a nice weekend. That was me last weekend. I had a bunch of on-call projects for my job last weekend. Pretty happy that it's been a lot more chill this time. Oh, yikes. Well, I hope that ends soon. Having to pull weight for other people is never a fun thing. I hope you get some well-deserved R&R time soon, then. Yeah, I haven't really decided on GDQ plans yet, but I'll probably go for at least a few days, because the fact that I can drive to where SGDQ is, and I don't have to fly, definitely makes me feel a lot more comfortable. That'd be nice if it worked out. Yeah, I bet. Just seeing people too. The Minneapolis area in Minnesota. As of right now, at least, the winter GDQ, when it's in person, is in Florida, and the summer one is in Minnesota. I'm only about a 4.5-hour drive away from the Twin Cities, so I've very much enjoyed it, being in that area. Before that, the summer GDQ was actually in Colorado. Well, that was back in like 2014 and earlier. It's like you might be kind of near where my mom grew up then, which was in northwest Minnesota, kind of near Fargo. Oh, Canada, okay. A little further north than where my mom grew up. Pathways, yeah. Definitely some pretty OP names for screens in this game. Especially in Leucemia, too. Like Decaying Dignity, I think is a pretty powerful name for a screen. How about Pathways of Ascetism? I'm not even honestly sure how to pronounce that word. I think I know what it means. I think it means like mysticism or some flavor of mysticism, but you got me on how to properly pronounce it. Hey, David. Evening, Siri. Alright, this should be his time save. I mean, not getting stuck on the shop counter and having a clean fight. Even though I lost probably, I don't know, like 2 seconds or so, almost going the wrong way at the fork. Right, really nice start to the run. I'm kind of amazed I saved that much on the first split, actually, but got lucky. What can I say? Plant danced a little bit, but got it. Guys didn't cooperate like I was hoping to as far as them both jumping towards me so that I could just spin and hit both of them, but still alright. Nice. Get the cartoonish arm flail from that thing. Yeah, the real enemy here are these flowerlings, because I mean that one was nice, but they can and will get in your way and make you lose, like, in some cases up to like 10 seconds just very little you can do about it. They got 2 more chances to get trolled by that flowerling. Bottom. You really learn to hate these things too if you play the game casually too, just because this is a really, really mazy dungeon. It's really, really easy to get lost because of those gates. Since you can't have every gate open at the same time. You have to pick and choose which ones are open and closed based on the movement of the flowerlings. Alright, suplex monkey, let's see what you get. Okay, no suplex. Spiral claw drop either. If I get a spiral claw drop from that monkey, which I think is a 1 out of 8 chance, then it cuts about 7 hits, I want to say, from this boss. Probably saves on maybe like 15 seconds or so if you get lucky. Nice, really good. Remember to spin at the start of the fight too to interrupt the opener. That's harder than it looks, by the way, too, because you're having to maintain about a 40-hit combo. Power cancels, which is where you do a power hit and then cancel the recovery animation with one of the shoulder buttons that doesn't have a special attack mapped to it. This is going to be gold, too. Hey, Scratch Dragon, evening, sir. No, not this. You'll lose some. Hopefully I can just buy the sword without having to sell stuff. I can't. I probably need closer to like 480, 490 at the first shop just to guarantee that I have 500 at this point, but it's going to be somewhat random depending on coin drops I get in the ones. Close like that, I should probably just start by going to sell instead of buy. Just to make sure. Well, killed the birds in 2 hits instead of 3, so that's going to make the next fight a little harder. Full ST gauge hit. I'm always prone to doing that on this screen because I forget that I'm entering from the south instead of the east. Ah! Skippy dudes. Spinning a couple times and then doing Maelstrom is probably the way to go there. Than getting my face eaten by the tomato man that was at least faster than the last run. Optimal. I honestly have no idea if I'm gonna save time here. Looks like I'm gonna break even. Or not, actually. Well, we continue. Still ahead, at least. Oh yeah. I lost time because of the derp with the artifact placement. That's why. It would have broken even. Not that. Chocolate. I like how one of the pets that you can get has a synchro ability that just gives you more chocolate drops from enemy kills. Not as clean as the Dovula fight in Ruins, but I'll still take that. Alright, and I was still a gold somehow. I find that a bit surprising, given that not all of my fights were clean, and none the boss wasn't either. Only a 1 second gold, though. Better movement was the key. Alright, well this is gonna be the first big test on if I get to keep my lead or not, because this boss can rob a lot of it if it chooses to. Cost me about 30 seconds in the last run. It was extra insulting that Spriggan decided to just nope out of getting hit by my counter ST after I timed it well. It's something I expect fully from Acrovator in the Dragon storyline, but Spriggan is usually not, I mean, he's a jerk, but not that kind of jerk, at least, as far as just noping out of being vulnerable. Not a good start. Did this before I could get an ST. Alright, I think that time Dana messed up by cutting bamboo attack actually hitting. Alright, so gonna lose some time here, but I should still be ahead. My PB had a really good Spriggan fight. By my standards, at least. Yeah, agreed, Frog. I like to say this is one of the best looking and sounding games on the PlayStation 1. Something I've just in general gained a lot of appreciation for over the past decade or so is PlayStation 1 games that are still 2D sprite work based instead of 3D. I feel like those have aged considerably better than 3D games. Like other games that are like that would be like Final Fantasy Tactics, Valkyrie Profile, Mega Man X4. Was a nice staircase at first. Well, the guy that did the music for Xenogears is the same guy that did the music for Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, so not too surprised that it's got bangers. See if I can get another good fight with this boss. Last one. That's not a good start. Okay, at least the last 4 heads or so. Usually it's the start of the fight is if I'm gonna get bad RNGs where it's gonna happen just because one of the red head on the right will do a instant magic cast and be off. So the fights in the mines were good, except for the first wave of flower buds from the boss. Nom nom nom. Odd meat sounds a little less Nami. Faerie's pleased. They don't you dare do it, Chokin Hood. This bird's just walking away. Really the main reason why you don't see a lot of special attacks used in speedruns outside of very specific situations is that enemies can just walk away during the charge up animation. Nice. Good. A lot of the other quick kills in this category, that's a lot harder than it looks as far as keeping the 2-hit combos going without going on to the 3rd hit or not doing the 2nd one. Gold too. Hey, F. Coughlin, thank you very much for the raid, good sir. Nefarious things are you up to tonight? Everybody from F. Coughlin stream, I'm Coexel. Do a lot of speedruns of classic RPGs, doing a second of 2 runs of Legend of Mana Faerie storyline tonight. Got a pretty decent lead going right now that I'm just trying to hang on to. Wait for Faerie to appear out of timer here. That split is basically all movement, so just saving 3 seconds tells me that my movement was a little bit cleaner. Combat in that segment. Is a jerk jellyfish. First half of this quest is more or less the same as the Gorgon Eye. Once I get to the place where the boss fight for the Gorgon Eye happened, we get to do some stuff. petrified penguins blocking the way this time. Hey, old drunk guy, welcome in. Alright, nice yaks so far. To call this the fake Parasite Eve boss theme because it sounds a lot like the Parasite Eve boss theme, only not. Yes, it was written by the same composer. None of the yaks were jerk. The end of that last fight was a little weird, though. My fault, though. Alright. See what Boreal Hound has to offer. Okay, not as fast as the last one, but at least I hit with the cutting bamboo after every lightning augury. Yeah, it's one of the more elaborate boss sprites in the game. It's not like a storyline final boss or something. My theory is that That boss was originally designed to be in the snowfield area, but because of how much effort was put into drawing the sprite, the game developers decided to move it to a quest that's required for one of the main storylines instead of a totally optional area. It feels kind of out of place where it is. You just have this this boss that looks like, or that's named after the Aurora Borealis, really fit into a forest area. Well, I guess wolves live in forests, but it's a stretch. They owe that minor time loss to the jerk jellyfish near the start. Because the yaks were all good and had 2 STs from Boreal Hound, but I got hit with counters on both of them. This is a quest that actually gives you some pretty nice background lore about the characters of the Faerie storyline. But you can actually just leave and fail the quest, and the storyline will still progress, so that's what we're going to be doing. Suplex Monkey round 2. Flowerling round 1. Nice, I think I dodged the Flowerlings 100% of the time in this run. Siding with Escad, even though he's not a good guy, just because it saves a lot of time on dialogue. Right, that was almost a perfect Dana fight until Escad knocked her out of the way. Pretty minor, though. Might be a minor gold. Second. Not mess up the artifact placements and lose 2 minutes like we did last run. Get a public service announcement too, not to chow down on volcanoes no matter how hungry you are if you're a ancient cataclysmic dragon. My favorite Final Fantasy is in my Twitch bio FAQ. Question comes up pretty often. Well, the food would be cooked, but you get cooked in the process too, so call that a Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic. Hey, some dude. First run was okay, but then I made a pretty big mistake right around here. It cost me about 2 minutes. Got a better pace going than the first run too, so I can finish strong. I say finish, but still got about half an hour to go. Hey, Sunspire, welcome in. We just activated the final Faerie storyline quest, but before going there, we're going to do some other stuff that we need to do anyway in order to be able to finish the run, but that's going to give us some much better weaponry for Heaven's Gate, the last Faerie quest. I like the Faerie storyline a lot better as a speed run. I like that there aren't any that the run isn't reliant on RNG-based weapon drops, and I find the combat and boss fights a lot more fun. Time in quite a while that I've had trouble with that fight. Ordinarily a really consistent segment. Just 2 fights and then a pretty trivial quote-unquote boss. I say quote-unquote because it's just a mob fight. Here's the boss theme. Yeah, I like the music for the Faerie storyline a little better overall too. Like the Leucemia dungeon theme is probably my favorite track out of the whole soundtrack. Plays the tome this time. That. Nutberries. Yep, it's time to sell some lamps. Then misplace the money that we get for selling the lamps and put it to better use to buy weapons with. Always have trouble with one of the bears getting in my way, although that one's the one that's most likely to be a problem. Layout. Yeah, agreed, Relthian. Something I've gained a lot of appreciation for in recent years too is PlayStation 1 games that use 2D sprites instead of 3D polygon models, because kind of in a way those feel like kind of leveled up Super Nintendo games. Have definitely aged considerably better than a lot of early 3D games. And yeah, and then just the really gorgeous kind of fairy tale storybook backgrounds, I think, pair really well with the kind of cartoonish style for the sprite work that was carried over from the previous Mana games. I'm not familiar with Artanelico, but it sounds about right. I've seen a speedrun of Artanelico 2. I don't really remember much about it. Cool, despite that issue with the bear, to the segment was pretty good. Alright, time to start the final dungeon of the Faerie storyline. Again, this is probably my favorite music in the whole soundtrack. This is also the only dungeon area in the whole game that has minor glitches for skipping stuff too. Namely, 2 6-second cutscenes and 1 20-second fight can be skipped. Things go well. It's called the Cancun bird, but it's kind of this world's equivalent of Flammy. The only time you actually get to ride it is right now when you fly to Leucemia. lose any coins or whatever behind that fungus in the foreground. Alright, first skip coming up. This is actually the hardest of them. It's got it. Use my character's hat as a visual cue for that. Second try, but that was still definitely a time save over actually doing that fight. Unlike with the cutscene skips, though, if I don't really have a choice once I've gone for it. I either skip or I'm soft locked. So it's not possible to perma fail that. Forgetting about this screen for some reason. I don't think I need to be holding left for this screen. I've got the fake exit this time. I really should do these with the purely with the D-pad, because pressing too hard on the analog stick will talk. That only costs 6 seconds. 6 seconds minus how long it takes me to actually wiggle. Behind the fungus, I'm sure. Way too long to be like level up leg. Hey, Techno Funk Buds, the raid, appreciate it. Stream right now. start. If that fight had gone badly, then that'd be a rip PB, because probably be losing at least a minute or so if Erwin actually got going. Yep. Well, the Cancun bird does help Sandra escape from Inspector Boyd way earlier, but I'd say helping you get to and then escape from leukemia makes up for that. Host GK. Hey PX, welcome in. A little disappointed I failed the second Selva skip, but aside from that, and the roll pattern from Irwin's, it was a decent segment. Had like maybe 2 fights that kind of meh because of busied or issues. Still definitely feels like it'd be 146 3x pace, which is my goal for this category right now. Pretty strong finish. Strong. There's that fight. That one in the last one. Hey Faizu, welcome in. Nice to see you streaming again. Or at least evidence of you streaming again. Into the tail end of a Legend of Mana run. If I have a pretty solid end game, this will hit my current goal for this category of 146 3x. So hopefully that'll happen. See though. When I get my goal for this category, I want to do some all stories runs, although that's not going to be like a long grind or anything. That'll probably be like 2 or 3 runs or so. That's about a 4-hour category, but that's going to kind of be my send off to Legend of Mana for a while. It's a pretty chill run too, just because making use of the game's weapon crafting system has the result of trivializing a lot of the combat, so most of the bosses go down in like 4 hits or so. It's about a 4-hour run. Like I think the record on PS1 is like 3:48 or so, so it's definitely shorter than doing the 3 single story runs back to back. Because of overlapping content and the fact that you're doing it all in one playthrough means that forging a godly weapon using the game's crafting system is actually worth your time. Yeah, I'd say overall it's a category where just the routing behind it is a lot more interesting than the actual gameplay. Yeah, it's been a very pleasant surprise as far as just how long this game has been holding my interest as a speed game, but I think a big part of that is just the fact that it's got multiple categories that, in addition to being kind of on the short side for RPGs, also just play very differently from each other as far as like what parts of the game you go through and then how the combat works. Like, if and when I get back to running Octopath Traveler, I do not see myself wanting to run all 8 single-story categories, because, I mean, there's differences, but there's so much that's kind of the same, too, as far as, you do Chapter 1, you run around the overworld and collect some other stuff, then you do Chapters 2 through 4 using merchant hired help spam to kill bosses low levels. It's not quite as much variety overall in the categories like there is with this game, where you by and large use a different weapon for most of each run, fight different bosses. I mean, Cyrus? Well, the only one that I actually run myself is Ulberich, as a dragon. I know the world record level route for Cyrus is really silly because it requires using Primrose's Bewildering Grace stance on Chapter 2 boss in order to be able to skip having to make another detour later in the run. Yeah, and then Therian single story is a required 3% steal in Chapter 4. Yeah, if I get back to Octopath Traveler, I'll probably do a single story run and then learn the full game Caldera run. Yay! 146.34. GG. It's a pretty solid fight too. Let's go. I was looking at the timer when the cutscene before the fight was going by, and looked like I was definitely going to need a pretty good mana goddess to get the 3x, but we did it. Only like maybe one counter-strike whiff, and then I got a blammo hit. So yeah, I could definitely keep going and push for a 145, and I could see myself doing that at some point, just because I've really come to enjoy this game as a speed game, and this is my favorite category for it. But I've been running this game for quite a while now, and I think this is where the Faerie grind is going to end for the time being. So next weekend, I think I'm going to start doing some all stories runs for a couple weeks. It's not really going to be like a long grind or anything, but I'd like to get an okay time. Yeah, let's look back, I guess. It's always nice to have a set of splits where I was never actually in the red, although that's going to also make it kind of harder to save time in future runs. Because yeah, this run had a very strong start, at least by my standards. Had a big gold on Nicolo's Business Unusual because of, I think largely because of both getting a 0 ST Mantis Ant and having enough money to pay Nicolo, which cuts a couple text boxes out of the post Mantis Ant cutscene. And let's see, the Flame of Hope, I think I had a minor movement derp, but other than that it was okay, and then the spin strat on the fight there worked out okay. Yeah, for tea time, spin strats worked out okay, although the second fight wasn't perfect because the eyeballs didn't both jump towards me like I was hoping, but it was okay. Did not get the Spiral Claw drop, but I still had a really good Count Dobula fight. For Huntin' Ducate, I know I messed up a little bit on the inputs for the artifact placements, but then yeah, I also barely wasn't able to afford the Laurent sword, despite selling off a bunch of stuff, extra stuff in Gato, but well, it's pretty minor. Really remember the fights in the jungle that well. I remember being surprised at golding the Murmuring Forest because it didn't really feel like a super amazing segment as far as the combat, but maybe my movement was better enough that I got the minor gold there. 2 torches, Spriggan was a bit of a troll. Mainly as far as doing an ST before I had a full gauge to counter it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Faizu. That means I know that there's more, I can get a better gold. Mind your own business. The start of the Laban fight was kind of weak, but that was bad RNG. Basically, the right red bulb did an insta spell at the start, which I still don't really honestly know what the good way to handle that is. If I should just ignore it and then kill the blue so that I can get the timer rolling to spawn another blue and then try to kill the red, or if I should try to detach the bulb so that it explodes while I'm fighting the blue, which is how the start of the fight should go. They should spin and knock them both down and then kill the blue, let the red explode. But I think after that, I think the rest of that fight went fairly well. Yeah, I had a nice gold on the Gorgon Eye because I had a really good boss fight. The regular fight. Oh no, I was in Search of Fairies where I had Jerk Jellyfish. Yeah, I had 2 STs from Boreal Hound, though I countered both of them. Starcrossed Lovers was okay, although, I mean, almost had a perfect Dana fight, but then Escad knocked her away before my last hit. But I do some practice runs on my PS4 on the HD version, and I've come to appreciate how you can interrupt Dana's starting special move on the HD version, but you can't on this version for whatever reason. Oh yeah, the lizard fight in the junkyard was a little bad. It's kind of surprising because that one's usually pretty clean. Lemia, I had maybe like 2 fights or so that weren't great, and then I failed the second solo skip because I tried to do it with my analog stick and then pressed it. Pressing left analog stick is like pressing the X button, so I talked to Silva. With the time I spent trying to do the skip, it was probably maybe like 8 seconds or so lost. Not the end of the world, clearly. The first fight in the Cage of Dreams. Oh yeah, then Irwin gave me a pretty weird pattern where he did 2 jumps and then hit me, but I still got the stun lock after that. The first fight in the Cage of Dreams was bad. Kind of for the same reason, I think, as the lizard fight in the junkyard, where I wasn't getting my spins off. It's just hands getting tired or something, or if I need to switch controllers or something like that. But then, yeah, then pretty good mana tree. That was something I knew I had time. I knew I had time to save on, and I put some practice past few days into the fights on the mana tree, and definitely paid off. It's 8-second gold, and then yeah, I think I had a pretty good mana goddess fight too. I only whiffed I think once with my counter strikes, and I hit with an ST after she did hers. She hit me with the whirlwind, but I don't think that really cost any time because I still just got back to her and then set up blammo and then got the hit. And yeah, so yeah, I try to push for 145 eventually. I'll have to probably some homework as far as like comparing my split times to Lemur's as far as where the most potential time save is. At least with the against these splits using the exact same strats, it looks like just getting luckier on Spriggan would be a big thing, along with some better fights in the jungle. And not getting luckier on Levon, getting luckier on Boreal Hound, playing better on first fight in the junkyard, and then playing a little better in Leucemia as far as the skips. Although I'm pretty proud of how I did I'm proud of how I set up the battle skip in Heaven's Gate, even though it took me a little longer than it should have to actually clip through the snack. The setup for it, with as far as spawning the 2 item bags and then collecting the experience crystals and then setting up for the skip was really fast. Yes, I have heard about the Live Alive remake. I don't have a Switch, so I won't be playing it right away, but hopefully it gets a PC port like Octopath and Bravely Default 2. So yeah, I think if I really want to try to get a 145, I'm definitely going to have to hit the lab as far as trying to find some faster strats in some places, because I don't really feel like my lost 35 seconds from Well, I don't know. Adding stuff up, I'm sure like every bit of bad luck and bad execution would have been more than 35 seconds, but realistically, over the course of an hour, 45 minutes and change, I have kind of a hard time seeing what the road to 145 would be like with my current. Yeah, thanks for watching, Tigerian. Oh, thanks, Linux. Appreciate it. And Crimson J. So yeah, game plan for next couple weeks is going to be some all stories runs, which again is doing Faerie, Dragon, and Jumi stories all in one run, a little under 4 hours. I've had my notes for it ready to go for a while now. I've just been wanted to get my hit my Faerie goal. I can just kind of put that away for a while before. And then not really sure what's going to be next after kind of ready to move on from Legend of Mana for a while, but I'll something out. 147 game time.